Hello there guys, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at yet another great addition to the X-Plane 11 hangar, the Velocity V-Twin by Aerobask. The Velocity V-Twin design goal was to offer the safety of twin-engine aircraft without the risks of stalls and spins normally associated with conventional twin during single-engine operation. Similar to the Pipistrel Panthera, this Velocity V-Twin ships with the native Garmin GTN 750 and 650 devices, which makes it really a fun aircraft to fly. In this video, we are going to be examining the 3D modeling, the texture work, and we're going to be taking a look at the aircraft systems. And finally, we're going to be doing a short test flight from London City Airport to Southampton Airport in the United Kingdom. In terms of the exterior 3D modeling and texture work, this aircraft is a faithful replica of the Velocity V-Twin. And the graphic work on this aircraft is really done to the highest quality possible. And if you look at the curvature here where the wing connects with the aircraft fuselage, as well as this area here, you can really appreciate the amount of detail and the finesse. The final finish is just simply outstanding on this aircraft, and this is of course indicative of the kind of quality that Aerobask strives for. And this is very similar to the Pipistrel Panthera in terms of the quality and the final finish of the exterior model. In terms of the interior 3D modeling and texture work, as you can see, this 3D cockpit is simply a masterpiece. A highly detailed, very authentic representation of the real Velocity V-Twin, and I think Aerobask really excels in this department. In fact, I think they set the bar for what is considered to be high fidelity 3D modeling and texture work. If you examine the material representation, the stitched leather here, the metal door handle, the flight stick, everything has been really done with an excruciating amount of detail and finesse. And the if we look at the passenger cabin here, everything again looks very, very good. And by the way, this aircraft comes with several liveries, and when you change the livery, the entire interior actually changes to match the livery. Aerobask has integrated a very functional and lightweight control panel to help manage the aircraft. We have access to some visual elements here that will probably help with frame rates. For those of you who suffer lower frame rates, can disable some of the options, though I must say that I'm very impressed with this aircraft performance. And the aircraft also comes, by the way, in a low resolution version for those of you with lower frames. You have access to the weight and balance of the aircraft visually. You can set your pilot, your co-pilot, passengers and bags. You can also set your fuel, and last but not least, you have access to the ground thingies. You can fill your oxygen tank and remove the static elements, open the doors, and just listen to the sounds. That is really outstanding in terms of the sound quality. So I think all in all, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the control panel, the aircraft features, I think really Aerobask has done a remarkable job with this aircraft, and this is now, I think, something that we're going to expect in the future from Aerobask, having seen the Pipistrel Panthera and now the Velocity V-Twin. Before we begin our test flight from London City Airport to Southampton, I'd like to show you guys the static elements and the ground power unit, and I also want to show you the oxygen tank here. So this is the oxygen tank that we fill in from within the control panel. And the Velocity V-Twin is capable of altitudes higher than 12,500 feet, provided, of course, that you have the oxygen tank filled. Now, this aircraft also simulates hypoxia. So if you don't have any oxygen in your tank and you exceed 12,500 feet, then you will probably pass out. And this is simulated in this aircraft. So what we're going to do now, we're going to close the doors, remove the ground power unit, and then we're going to fire up the aircraft and depart London City Airport. We are now ready for our short test flight from London City Airport to Southampton. So let's head over to the overhead panel, get things ready. Master battery is on, avionics master is on, beacon lights are on. Let's set the mixture to full rich. And now let's turn on the fuel pumps, both left and right, left mag and ignition. And let's begin with the left engine. And we have a good start on the left engine. And let's do the same for the right engine. And we have a good start on the right engine as well. We'll turn on the alternators. We no longer need the ignitions. And everything else looks okay. Nav lights can go on. All right, let's go ahead and set up our flight plan real quick here on the Garmin device. Flight plan, and we're gonna depart London City Airport, Echo Golf Lima Charlie, and we're gonna be heading to Echo Golf Hotel India, which is Southampton, and load the departure. We're gonna depart runway 09. We don't need a SID out of London City Airport, and we're gonna load the arrival. We're going to arrive, we're going to do an ILS runway 20, and we're going to take the EAS 1 Bravo star. Yep, there we go. And everything looks okay. And let's see here. Okay, so we're good here. Let's go ahead and, this is our map. And let's go ahead and set things up here in terms of the altitude. So our altitude is 5,000 feet, that's perfectly okay, and the altimeter is 2988. So we need to adjust that to 2988. That is now set. Let's set our vertical speed. There we go. Okay, vertical speed about 600 feet per minute, which is perfectly okay. I think we're ready to go. We'll set this to GPS. SkyView is set, so everything looks to be okay. Right, so just one quick thing on the autopilot switch here. This autopilot switch does not engage the servos, it only powers them. So we're going to turn it on, but we're going to turn the autopilot once we're ready. So let's go ahead now and taxi to, we'll turn the map and panel lights on. And let's go ahead and release the parking brake and taxi to the runway. Parking brake released. All right, we're lined up with the runway now. Let's turn on our landing lights, strobe lights, and we're pretty much good to go now. Let's go. Rotation speed is about 74 knots. There we go. And let's rotate. We have a positive rate of climb and gears going up. And what we can do now is turn off the fuel pumps. And we're going to maintain about 120 knots for the duration of our flight. I think we can engage the autopilot now. So we're going to hit Autopilot, AP and FD. We're going to go to Roll, click on Nav, and now the aircraft Autopilot has taken over. And we're going to climb to 5,000 feet. As we continue our flight to Southampton, there are a few things that I wanted to point out. One is this little glove compartment here has an EFIS dimmer. and it will control the brightness of your instruments here. As you can see, this is very bright, and you can adjust it to your liking. The circuit breakers aren't modeled, so by clicking on the glove compartment again, it will close it. The O2 panel right here will indicate how much oxygen is remaining, and it will start depleting after you climb to 12,500 feet. It will begin showing the available oxygen in the tank that I showed you earlier in the video. There is an O2 light here that will illuminate once the oxygen is required, and you can turn on the oxygen switch here, and as you can see now, you can hear the breathing. So we are, it's not required at this altitude. We are at 5,000 feet, so we're pretty much good now. But this is how you would operate your oxygen. We are now approaching Southampton, so I've set the altitude to 1,500 feet. And let's go ahead and also set our vertical speed to about 500 feet per minute for our descent. And we're going to click here on vertical speed, and now we should begin our descent. And now we need to watch our speed, so I'm going to reduce our speed to about 100 knots for our descent. I've just enabled the approach button now, so the aircraft will line up itself now with the runway, and as you can see, we see the needle moving down here. I'm going to reduce the speed just slightly to about 74 knots, which is our approach speed, and as you can see now, the glide slope is active and the aircraft has begun descending towards the runway. We need to watch our speed. So I'm just going to reduce the speed to about 74 knots at this point. And once we are at 74 knots, I will lower the landing gear. We're doing okay in terms of the glide slope. Okay, 74, I think that's good enough. Let's lower the landing gear. And we just need to maintain about 74 knots for our descent. Alright, we are now at about 500 feet, so let's go ahead and turn off the autopilot. And it is my plane now.
Autopilot disconnect.
There we go, we're coming in nicely now. And touchdown. And welcome to Southampton, guys. And by the way, a lot of you have been asking me about the head shake that I'm using, the head shake plugin. I'm using the free head shake plugin by SimCoders. Well, we've made it safely to Southampton, and let me tell you, I really enjoyed flying this aircraft today. I think this Velocity V-Twin by Aerobask is an aircraft that is well made in just about all departments, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the features, the way it flies. It's got the GTN 750 and 650 Garmin devices. All in all, a wonderful experience flying this aircraft in X-Plane 11. It is one of the aircraft that will receive my 10 out of 10 mark, and absolutely well made, lots of fun to fly, and highly recommended. Folks, this brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that this was an informative and insightful look into this beautiful aircraft by Aerobask, the Velocity V-Twin. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.